How to improve your English. Alex often felt a profound longing to speak English fluently, imagining himself engaging in lively conversations with people from all corners of the globe. He dreamed of understanding movies without subtitles and exploring new cultures through their native tongue. But his current grasp felt frustratingly distant, a mountain too high to climb and a skill seemingly out of reach. He had tried countless traditional methods, diligently attending evening classes, memorizing endless vocabulary lists, and attempting intricate grammar exercises late into the night. Yet, despite his persistent efforts, the crucial words often seemed to vanish completely when he needed them most, leaving him perpetually tongue-tied and disheartened during any actual real-life interaction. One particularly discouraging evening, a dark and persuasive thought began to creep insidiously into his mind. Why even bother learning English at all? The sheer scale of the monumental task felt absolutely insurmountable, the daily progress agonizingly slow, and the pervasive fear of making embarrassing mistakes always loomed large, nearly crushing his initial, hopeful enthusiasm. He considered giving up entirely, convinced that English proficiency was simply not meant for him, a skill reserved for others. The idea of embracing his limited abilities and simply moving on felt oddly liberating for a brief moment, suggesting a path of less resistance and immediate relief from the relentless pressure to improve himself constantly. However, a spark of defiance flickered within him. He remembered his deepest motivations, connecting with diverse minds, traveling without barriers, and unlocking a world of knowledge. This intrinsic desire reignited his resolve, reminding him that true growth often begins precisely where comfort zones end and real challenge starts. Alex realized his biggest hurdle wasn't a lack of knowledge, but a profound lack of actual speaking practice. He consumed endless content, books, films, podcasts, but rarely produced any English himself. His mind was a vast reservoir of input, yet his mouth remained largely unused, a silent channel awaiting activation and continuous flow. He understood that fluency wasn't about perfect grammar from the start, but about courageously making sounds and forming sentences, even imperfect ones. The act of speaking itself, regardless of accuracy, was the muscle he needed to vigorously train, the essential ingredient missing from his previous, stagnant learning routine and approach. The breakthrough came with a simple, yet revolutionary idea: start talking at home. He decided his living room would become his personal English laboratory, a safe space free from judgment where he could experiment freely with words and expressions without any fear of embarrassment or misunderstanding from others. His first attempts felt awkward, almost comical. He would talk to his plants, describing their leafy textures and vibrant green hues. He narrated his morning routine aloud, explaining each mundane step in English, like brushing his teeth or making coffee, feeling a bit silly but persistently committed to the process. He talked to his reflection in the mirror, conducting imaginary interviews and debates, articulating his thoughts on various subjects, from global politics to his favorite types of food. This solitary practice allowed him to hear his own voice speaking English, identifying areas for improvement in pronunciation and intonation clearly. Even his dog, Buster, became an unwitting conversation partner. Alex would describe Buster's playful antics, narrating their walks in the park and explaining the commands he was giving, turning everyday interactions into invaluable opportunities for spontaneous and continuous English-speaking practice. This consistent, daily vocalization, no matter how trivial the subject, began to chip away at his inhibitions. The sounds of English started to feel more natural on his tongue, less foreign and more like an extension of his own thoughts, building a solid foundation of oral fluency and comfort gradually. He soon incorporated the principle: talk in English just 1 page per day. This wasn't about reading. It was about speaking for the duration it would take to read 1 page aloud, perhaps 5 to 10 minutes, focusing purely on continuous, uninterrupted vocal output, building stamina and confidence systematically. He would pick a random topic, his day, a news article, or a scene from a book, and just talk about it, recording himself sometimes to review later. The goal was quantity over immediate quality, pushing himself to keep speaking without pauses, to overcome the tendency to translate internally first. Alex also began keenly observing how other people talk in English. He paid close attention to native speakers in movies, podcasts, and online videos, not just for vocabulary, but for their natural rhythm, common phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, and the subtle nuances of intonation and stress. He noticed how they connected words, the pauses they took, and the common filler words they used naturally. This observational learning helped him mimic authentic speech patterns, making his own spoken English sound more natural and less like a stiff textbook rendition, improving his flow. Armed with newfound confidence from his solitary practice, he felt ready to attempt how to talk to anyone in English. He started small, with simple interactions. The barista at the coffee shop, the cashier at the grocery store, anyone who offered a brief, low-pressure opportunity for engagement. "Can I get a large coffee, please?" followed by a polite "thank you" became his starting point. Each successful, albeit brief, exchange boosted his morale significantly, proving that he could indeed use English effectively in real-world scenarios, however small, without major breakdowns in communication. He learned that most people were incredibly patient and often eager to help, especially when they saw his genuine effort. Their encouraging smiles and understanding nods fueled his desire to speak more, transforming potential anxiety into exciting opportunities for genuine human connection and shared understanding. A crucial part of his English study plan for talking was active listening. He realized that true conversation involved not just speaking, but also deeply understanding what others were saying, interpreting their intentions, and responding appropriately and thoughtfully in real time, fostering richer interactions. He consciously practiced rephrasing what he heard in his mind, ensuring comprehension before formulating his own response. This active listening strategy prevented misunderstandings and allowed him to participate more meaningfully in discussions, moving beyond simple question-and-answer exchanges. Alex also discovered the immense power of reading. While his initial focus was speaking, he recognized why reading is important for expanding his vocabulary and understanding complex sentence structures. Reading provided the rich input necessary to fuel more sophisticated spoken output effectively. He started reading articles, short stories, and even light novels in English. This exposed him to new words and context, helping him internalize grammar rules naturally rather than through rote memorization. Reading broadened his expressive range, giving him more tools for conversation. The combination of speaking, listening, and reading created a synergistic loop. The more he spoke, the more confident he became. The more he listened, the better he understood, and the more he read, the richer his vocabulary grew, accelerating his overall progress remarkably. His journey was becoming a very interesting story, indeed, a testament to the power of consistent, focused effort and a shift in perspective. It wasn't about perfect English immediately, but about the continuous, courageous act of engagement and persistent improvement over time. Alex embraced mistakes as learning opportunities, not failures. Each stumble taught him something new, refining his understanding and honing his expressive abilities. This positive mindset transformed frustrating errors into valuable stepping stones on his path to genuine fluency and confidence. He started attending online conversation groups, pushing himself out of his comfort zone even further. The safe, supportive environment allowed him to practice with other learners, sharing experiences and gaining confidence in a group setting, preparing him for diverse real-world conversations. His initial fear of mispronunciation gradually diminished as he heard others make similar errors and observe their improvements. This shared vulnerability fostered a sense of camaraderie, making the learning process less daunting and more enjoyable for everyone involved. Alex realized that genuine communication wasn't just about perfect grammar or an expansive vocabulary. It was fundamentally about conveying ideas, sharing emotions, and connecting with people on a human level, using English as a bridge rather than a barrier to interaction. He found immense joy in understanding jokes, participating in lively debates, and sharing personal anecdotes in English. The language stopped feeling like a rigid academic subject and transformed into a vibrant, living tool for authentic self-expression and interaction with the world. His confidence soared, allowing him to navigate diverse social situations with ease. He could now travel abroad and converse freely, ask for directions, order food, and engage in impromptu chats with locals, enriching his travel experiences profoundly and meaningfully. He even discovered a knack for storytelling in English, captivating listeners with tales from his own life. The ability to articulate complex narratives in a foreign language was a milestone, a clear demonstration of his advanced proficiency and newfound expressive freedom. The "why you should not learn English" argument, which once seemed so compelling, now appeared utterly ridiculous. He understood that those thoughts were merely internal resistance, fear disguised as logic, trying to keep him from achieving his true potential and growth. His success wasn't instantaneous. It was the cumulative result of hundreds of small, consistent efforts. Each spoken sentence, each listened podcast, each read page contributed incrementally to his remarkable transformation, building a solid linguistic foundation brick by brick. He became an advocate for active speaking from day one, sharing his story with others who struggled. His mantra was simple: don't wait for perfection. Start speaking now, even if it's just to your reflection or your pet. The core of his English study plan for talking involved daily, short bursts of uninhibited speaking. He didn't need hours. Just focused minutes every day made a massive difference over time, accumulating into significant progress and measurable improvements. He emphasized the importance of self-correction, not self-criticism. After recording himself, he would pinpoint areas for improvement without judgment, focusing on learning from his mistakes rather than dwelling on perceived imperfections. Another key element was mimicking native speakers. He'd pick a short audio clip or video and try to repeat sentences exactly as he heard them, focusing on rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation, a practice known as shadowing, which proved highly effective. He made sure to integrate English into his daily life beyond dedicated study time. Listening to English music, watching English news, and even changing his phone's language settings all contributed to constant, immersive exposure, making the language omnipresent. Alex understood that learning a language was a marathon, not a sprint. There would be plateaus and moments of frustration, but consistent effort, even small daily contributions, would always lead to eventual progress and greater mastery. His journey proved that true fluency comes from embracing imperfection and prioritizing consistent output. It's not about knowing every word, but about being able to express yourself clearly and confidently, despite any linguistic limitations. He encouraged others to find their own Buster, an imaginary friend, a pet, or even just a blank wall. Anything that allowed them to vocalize their thoughts in English without fear of judgment from external observers. The initial awkwardness of start talking at home eventually morphed into a comfortable routine. It became a natural part of his day, as essential as brushing his teeth, a habit that continually reinforced his spoken English skills effortlessly. He learned to celebrate every small victory, successfully ordering a meal, understanding a complex movie scene, or having a spontaneous chat with a stranger. These tiny successes built monumental confidence over time, fueling his motivation. The one-page-per-day talking challenge evolved into longer, more fluid monologues. He could now speak for minutes on end without pausing, expressing intricate ideas and personal feelings with growing ease and remarkable precision. His ability to observe how other people talk in English sharpened his listening skills and made him more attuned to conversational nuances, allowing him to adapt his own speech to various contexts and registers effortlessly. He could now confidently engage in how to talk to anyone in English, whether it was a casual chat with a neighbor or a formal presentation at an international conference, demonstrating versatility and composure in any setting. The very interesting story of his transformation inspired many, proving that the most effective learning strategies often begin with simple, consistent actions and a courageous willingness to step outside of one's comfort zone. His English study plan for talking, indeed, became a blueprint for others, emphasizing the synergy between active speaking, critical listening, and comprehensive reading, all working in harmony towards a common goal of fluency. He underscored why reading is important not just for vocabulary, but for absorbing natural sentence structures and advanced grammatical patterns that are often difficult to learn through explicit rules alone, making his language richer. Alex discovered that the journey of language learning is a continuous adventure, filled with endless opportunities for discovery and personal growth. There's always something new to learn, a new way to express, a new connection to make. His voice, once hesitant and filled with self-doubt, now resonated with clarity and conviction. He spoke not just words, but confidence, passion, and the profound satisfaction of overcoming a significant personal challenge through sheer dedication. He became a living example that the biggest barrier to learning English is rarely ability, but almost always fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough to truly try. The joy of effortless communication in English far outweighed any initial struggles or moments of frustration. It opened doors to new friendships, career opportunities, and a deeper understanding of the world, enriching his life immeasurably. So, if you ever find yourself thinking why you should not learn English, remember Alex's story. Remember to start talking, to observe, to read, and to embrace the process. Your fluency journey awaits, ready to transform your world.